Dobbs gets to play indoors. I mean,
Yeah.
that's a big thing if you're a wide receiver. Going to Atlanta, you're in a dome. You go to Kansas City. I tell you what, that's a tough place to play, elements wise. It gets cold, it gets wet, it gets ugly. If
It's
I'm Cooper Cup, I'm going someplace indoors.
loud as hell in Arrowhead.
Well, that's a good point. It's definitely a good point there. You go to Arrowhead, it's definitely tough to play in, but it would probably be their number one position at this point, getting a number one wide receiver for Patrick Mahomes. And let's face it, he hasn't had one of those. And then on top of it, Kelsey looks like he's lost about 2 steps, not just 1 step, 2 steps behind there, Taylor Swift. That's a whole different story. He does not look good, does not look like the same player, whether it's injury or
miserable.
Yes, he looks miserable.
You know what, guys? And Peter, we sat there when Ron Jaworski preached to us that the biggest fear a quarterback has is color in his face, because now he's got to look at the rush and not downfield.
Right.
If you look at all the interceptions he had in that game against the Eagles, he's looking at the rush, or he's trying to scramble away from the rush. He's not focused downfield. That's the key. The NFL is a copycat league. Watch what everybody does. The Eagles manhandled Kansas City. Why did they do it? They had a pass rush. Look for all these guys to start boning up and putting in guys who can really rush the passer.
Yeah, it's absolutely correct. All right, what else, Frankie?
Last thing I'm going to say before turnbuckle talk, what a lot of people don't realize, and I know a lot of people, especially you, Peter, roll your eyes when I talk about this guy. Bucky Irving he's the man. He did not start.
I'm not rolling my eyes on it. I know where you're going. I know you're the biggest Bucky Irving fan you were from the very beginning. You told us all here on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Frankie from Wisconsin said Bucky Irving is the man. I know you're a number one fan of him, man. We appreciate it. We definitely know. And
I said he was going to be the starting running back before the season was over, and he was.
You did.
Hey, Frankie, where in Wisconsin are you at now?
I'm in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, unfortunately.
Oh, you and the Bruiser and the Crusher. We grab a case of beer. We run up to Waukesha. Yeah, I've been there.
Now, let me tell you something. I live in Wisconsin. I'm a Buccaneer fan. And I can't stand the freaking Packers. They look at me so weird up here.
Well,
oh, God, you're lucky you're still alive, because there's all that green and gold underwear running around up in the cheeseheads.
In Wisconsin, it's a state law that you should root for the Green Bay Packers. That's why I have 87 felonies.
Oh,
that's tough, man. Hey, man, I'm a Buccaneers fan. I'm a Bucs fan that lives in Massachusetts, and a lot of people like, why aren't you a Patriots fan? No, like I'm not. It's not a Patriots fan, and believe me, it's tough. You know, you've seen the hometown team winning all these championships.
I've been a Bucs fan for 36 years, man, since I was 10 years old.
I've been alive. 8 years old, and 1988. There, it's their 50th anniversary, fellas. 50 years. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, their 50th year. It's amazing to me. It's flown by.
Yeah, just think, I was 22 when the Bucs came in.
Oh, man. I wasn't born.
Me neither. Different times.
Yeah, it's terrible. Hey, Peter, I'm going to jump off so you guys can do turnbuckle talk, but I got one question before you go to turnbuckle talk.
Thank you. We'll let you go, man. Appreciate you.
Who is the greatest professional football player that was also a wrestler? I'm going to throw out Ernie Ladd.
Ernie Ladd, okay. Professional football player.
Ron Simmons was pretty good too.
I was just about to say that. Ron Simmons, he was pretty good.
Simmons is pretty good.
If you're gonna go off popularity, I mean, obviously you got Bill Goldberg.
The Rock didn't play, played Canadian, didn't play NFL, played college.
Yep, Ernie the Big Cat Ladd. Look that up. Maybe somebody will know that on Turnbuckle Talk. But gentlemen, I will
hold on, Leo.
before you
go, I have to ask you, since you were there in the beginning for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, outside of the popular names, you know, the Mike Evans, you know, the Leroy Selmans, out of the whole history of the Buccaneers, who are some guys that you think are very underrated that are not talked about enough, that don't, like, they do the jersey sales, for Brooks and Sapp with the creamsicle jerseys. Who are some guys from that era that you think that don't really get talked about enough that really contributed to the Buccaneers?
Two of them come to mind right away: Richard Batman Wood and Paul Gruber.
Paul Gruber.
They were fabulous on a bad team. I mean, Gruber was the top of the line as a tackle, and Richard Batman Wood is the only 3-time All-American at USC. Now that's saying something with the talent they had. But I'll tell you what, those two guys, I tell you, they don't get enough credit. And I'd really like to see where they're going with the Ring of Honor in the next couple of years. That should be now they're talking about putting Gruden back in. That's a topic for a whole nother show.
Oh, absolutely.
Yes.
But I would like to see them go back and look at some of those guys from the early days that were really like Scott Brantley could play, guys. Oh man,
yes,
he could play.
Yep. Doug Williams, another guy that gets mentioned, doesn't get mentioned enough. I'll give you a real quick story here, and then we'll get you out of here, Leo. Used to wear a Bucks creamsicle jacket. I don't know if you know this story or not. In 7th grade in Bayonet Point Middle School there in Newport Richie, people hated it because the Bucks used to lose all the time. I didn't care. I used to wear the jacket. Somebody actually took a lighter and burned a hole in the jacket. I didn't have it on. They took it, burned a hole in it, wore it, and to immortalize that jacket, got Paul Gruber to sign it. I still have that jacket with the burnt hole in it. Creamsicle Bucko Bruce jacket signed by Paul Gruber. There you go.
Guys, the last thing, the one guy who doesn't get a whole lot of credit is Sam Wyche.
Yeah.
Sam Wyche drafted Warren Sapp. And I don't know if anybody else, I don't think Tony Dungy would have, because I walked by that draft board when Randy Moss was draftable. That name wasn't up on the board. And
Dungy says before he got hired on NFL Films that they were looking at Sapp. They wanted Sapp at the time, and of course they take Derek Alexander from Florida State. But of course Dennis Green is the coach there, not Tony Dungy. But Dungy actually says he wanted Sapp. He wanted Sapp. So
yeah, Sapp was a freak of nature when it comes to getting Sapp. Hey guys, I don't want to cut into turnbuckle talk. Have a great evening. Take care, guys.
All right.
Don't be a stranger.
Yes.
Absolutely not. I appreciate it, man.
He's the newest part of the evolution of sports talk television. It's what we do here. We find JC Allen. Now we got Louis from the Frozen Pirate Podcast. All right. Good stuff there from Leo. Let's read these comments, and then we'll get out to turnbuckle talk. Might be a little bit late, Ralph, so be patient, my friend. We will have it. I don't care if we have to go 3 hours. We will. We'll try to keep it down to because the roommates might be sleeping. So I'll go into my quiet voice, if you will.
I'll do the yelling for you. I'm in. So I have a pretty big garage down here, and it's heated, so it's like a garage, a gym, and then I have my workbench down there. I can fit my Escalade in here, perfect, and still have room. So nobody can hear me. Nobody can hear me.
It was funny. One of my roommates, his name is Steve. He said the next stop is from this room because I used to be out in the living room. They were trying to watch TV, so they had no idea that I was so loud. They're like, "We can't have you out in the living room, so we're going to put you in the room." And they said the next stop is in the garage. And I said, "Is it cool? Or you leave me alone if you put me in the garage? But we're good here. We'll stay here." Goodness gracious, I can't even get to the comments. Let's go out to the phone lines. What's your name? Where you calling from? You're on the Evolution.
Eric from Sarasota.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Good. I think the Bucks should get Cooper Kupp and get rid of Chris Godwin.
What?
Come on, man.
Come on, man. Are you serious?
Yeah.
Why do you think they should get rid of Chris Godwin and go? That's not going to happen, by the way. But why do you want Cooper Kupp over Chris Godwin?
He keeps getting injured.
Well, he got injured last year, a freak injury against the Saints. It was a dirty injury, but he's a lot more healthier than Cooper Kupp is ever since Kupp signed that big time contract. You do know that, right?
Yeah.
And also, Kupp is older than Chris Godwin. All right, Eric, you're killing me here, man. I appreciate you. Appreciate the call. I think he was joking around with me. I don't know what that was. Appreciate the call. Use the second call if you want to. You got to give me more than that, man. You got to call the show, give me dead hair, and then say something, nonsensical and get rid of Chris Godwin for Cooper Kupp. Come on,
Yeah,
man.
I don't understand that. I mean, I'm not going to use my soundbite.
Yeah, don't do that. We don't want to curse here, but we could. However, you can't throw a bunch of money on free agents and expect to win instantly. Logan says one good cornerback were a contender, Christopher Cole. Godwin turned down 4-year deal worth $88 million, so that's where they get the extra $20 million. Correct, Christopher? Thank you for that. Yeah. Joy says we make buck necklaces and bracelets. We are at Special Olympics. We'll have to get together, have to get you on here to promote that, Joy. Appreciate you tuning in to the Evolution. Cole, CSB brother right there. That comment by Chris about his jersey is amazing. I love this team, these players. They are all pillars of this community. Enjoy it, Bucks fans, because as you know, Peter, it hasn't always been this way. That's definitely the comment of the night. I love how people go, well, you just won the NFC South. Oh, you just won the division? Do you know how many years the Bucks
5 years in a row? That's not nothing. That doesn't count for nothing. Look, I'll say this real quickly because I know we need to get to the comments, but I will say this. When Brady got here, losing was no longer acceptable. The culture changed. And I still to this day, I still hear Jameis was still the guy. He should have been our no, absolutely not. Absolutely not. And there's still people who the local radio station says it best. I believe it's T-Crass. He says the Florida State Robots. No, Jameis is not the guy. Brady came in here, changed the culture. He'd still be eating W's, man, if he was here. He changed the culture, and a lot of people like outside of like the Bucks fan base, people out here, they're like, "Oh, you think Tom Brady should be in the Buccaneers Ring of Honor?" Not right now. Maybe in a couple of years, because you're gonna see the seeds that he's planted for good for this organization. Because this franchise was not a very good franchise for a long time. We just couldn't win. And he came here. The equipment guys got better. The guys who set up the fields got better. The cleaning crews got better. Everybody got better. It was the Brady effect. And I'm just saying, people need to relax, calm down. Because I'm on the sports web now. I'm going to start checking people. I got receipts.
Yeah, we got receipts like Jason Light here. We're definitely going to check you, but we do want you to bring the passion, bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I won't scream it like I usually do because I want to wake my neighbors up and have my dog bark at me, which he does sometimes, which I don't understand. Alex, go lay down. Evans and Godwin get 1,000 yards each. They'll be second all-time duos in yards. Great stuff, Christopher Cole. 20 million sounds great. If not guaranteed, it's not 20 million. Mike DeRoche, still $20 million he turned down the table. But thanks a lot for the comment, Donald. Appreciate you. Mike DeRoche from Canada. Hey, Peter and Louie, Christopher Cole, LBD, Dennis, and Deion Jones plus draft one will be your first 4 inside linebackers. Makes lots of sense. Let's go out to Jamie here. Trade White in a 4th to the Dolphins for Ramsey. I still don't buy the fact that they're going to trade White. And Ramsey is up there in age. He's not even that great either.
That contrast is atrocious, too.
Yeah,
why would you even want to take that cap hit?
It's an albatross. Yeah, Jamie, come on. We're not playing Madden here, but I guess good comment. Is there any more bucks for Tampa to get more guys? Definitely can restructure some contracts, move some money around. We'll see what Jason Light and this team will do here in the next couple weeks. As Junior 5'10", not happening, says Donald. Is he high? I think you were talking about Frankie before. Jamie says Gedeke is a dog at right tackle. That he is. Good comment there. By Donald says it's cold in Wisconsin. It's affecting his judgment. Oh, that's pretty funny, actually. I'll give you that. Let's see. I take Becton over Mock. Flacco threw 5 picks. Laugh out loud. Mike DeRoche. Patriots, Texans, go F yourself to Godwin. Evans Godwin have a legitimate shot of all-time duo for NFL most yards. Absolutely, they Mike D. Roche, thank you for the encouraging words. Means a lot to me. Hang in there, my friend. We love you. Dave says when Riddick played with the Cardinals, he played as an inside linebacker, wasn't good, but when they put him outside as a pass rusher, he took off. That's why the Eagles took him, but then they didn't want to pay him, so they traded him to the Jets. The Jets didn't give him a raise, so he sat, and it hurt him. He's going to ball out this season for a contract. Good comment there.
Yes!
Let's go out to Christopher Cole. Cam Jordan is returning to the Saints. Laugh out loud. Shocker there. Should the Bucks bring back Shepard? I'm 50-50 on it. Shepard to the Bucks, or keep him as a Bucks wide receiver. Did okay. Inconsistent.
Yeah, it wasn't bad.
Maybe you can find somebody in the draft.
Yeah. I mean, again, the second wave of free agency, like I like to call it after the draft. I mean, depth purposes.
Yeah.
We need to find somebody who can return kicks. That's our
nice.
big thing.
Be nice to find that. Finally, read the comments. We are Roger Shoe. Appreciate you.
Acknowledge me.
Dawson should have started over JTS. Agree with you on that, Dave. Some Bucks fans need to go watch the tape of Riddick, not from the Jets, but for obvious reasons. Laugh out loud. Christopher Cole. Looks like the Jaguars are rebuilding first and going to build it back up in a few years, but will Cohen and company have a chance to finish it all the way? I don't think he's going to.
They need a lot of work. They really do. They need a lot of work there.
Yep. Dave says more riverboat as my picture goes down right there. As you can see, it's amazing. That picture is cursed at this point. That wall hates that Tropicana field. So you can see a shadow in the background.
Omen.
Yeah, it's an omen. Yeah. More riverboat Todd. Christopher Cole Trask just re-signed. We got you. Timmy, thanks a lot. I think that's stars.
Oh, yeah.
Timmy, again, what do you guys think is going to happen with Kyle Trask at number 2? He's going to be the backup quarterback. He's going to get another opportunity.
Yep.
Baker is the best player on the Bucks. Dave, some fans have to quit with the Jason Light bad-mouthing. He's top 5 GM in football. We are lucky to have him. Byron says, hang the phone up on the dude. He's sounding crazy. We got to do that. Ender Blue. Cheap viewers, okay? We're not looking for that. Nice job. Thank you, Timmy. Hang up on this guy. We did. We like to give them a little bit of
benefit of the doubt.
A little leash there, if you will. Jason Light brought Evans, Godwin, Vita, Wirfs, Winfield. And then he got Sue, Shaq, JPP, Fournette, Gronk. The list goes on. So stop with the bashing. Absolutely. As I'm sorry about the shadow there. That's my head. As you can see, we'll put the sign back up here. Louis will have to take control of the show here in just a little bit. The O-line is locked in now. What's the guy talking about? Exactly. Christopher Cole. There's no way they draft a quarterback OL. Dave, the Bucks have top 5 O-line now. Christopher Cole, they like Michael Pratt. They do. The Greek put on waivers. Ha, ha, ha. No, Greek is out tonight. We'll be back on Monday night. Well, Peter, you finally got your draft pick. Mac Jones is signed with the 49ers. Yes, years later. Eric, I don't know if this is Eric who just called. We're only going to go up and up. So we win the division again because we just got the edge. Walker from the Eagles. We just need more key. I think it's Hassan Reddick you're talking about. Get the quarterback, get turnover. I don't know what that is, Eric. I can't read that. We could use Cooper Kupp. This is him. Trade Chris Godwin because that would be better. They're not going to trade Chris Godwin. Come on, Eric. Kansas City Chiefs. Hi, guys from Tasmania there in Australia. Appreciate you. I'm Bucks and Kansas City Chiefs fan. That's a weird combination. We saw all kinds of Mongo.
Yeah,
there you go. Steve Mongo McMichael. There's one. Anybody remember Chucky as a coach? Yes. Steve Michael, McMichael, the Bears. I can't even talk. Chucky, the coach, my favorite Bucks coach. Sandra Nagel, my mother, right there, watching the best sports talk show in the Tampa Bay area. The Sports Web with Amped Up Sports. Absolutely. The 2002 Bucks, my favorite Bucks team. I love Chucky as a coach, was my favorite coach. Sap, my favorite player in Chucky 2002. Yes, thank you. Let them know he will. Hi, guys. Again from Tasmania. Appreciate you. And David says, I heard this morning that if Chris and Mike both get 1,000 yards this year, they'll be number 2 duo of all time with yards. That's amazing stuff there. I'm going to go out to Ralph Williams. And I'm going to try to put this sign up so I don't look like an idiot here with the shadow in the background. Mr. Ralph Williams, bodyguard of the Berg. What's going on, boss? How you doing? Welcome to Turnbuckle Talk. It looks like it's going to be It's going to be Seth Rollins versus CM Punk versus Roman Reigns. Welcome to the Evolution.
Yeah, that's what it's looking like right now, and I like what I see here with this. I have a former wrestler who was once a football player, Baron Corbin, played for the Jets.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot
So
all about that.
yeah, and Lex Luger also played football too. So
Forgot all about that.
He's-
Baron Corbin. He played with the Cards too, right?
I believe he did. Yes,
Yeah.
and he banked his money. He was involved in that concussion lawsuit, and he came out with some money because he had a concussion. So.
Somebody else was talking about the concussion lawsuits on how that worked. I believe I heard something about that. They couldn't get it because they do a show and they seem to be talking perfectly fine, so they weren't eligible for it. I forgot what it was, but if I remember, I will bring it back up.
So there it is. It's up again. Let's see how long.
No point intended.
As
Well,
it's
triple threat match here, Peter and Louis. I think it's going to happen. It's going to be a very interesting, WrestleMania. We're going to find out what happens here, with this. But it's crazy. Seth Rollins, CM Punk, and Roman Reigns. And when I saw Roman stare at Paul Heyman, and do what he did to CM Punk. Oh my, here we go.
Well, here we go. And this has been talked about, guys. And again, take my money on this because everybody wants to see eventually Roman Reigns versus CM Punk. But is there a chance here, Louis, that you would do a three-way and whoever wins that, namely CM Punk, that he would be included in a three-way with Cody Rhodes versus John Cena? Is that a possibility where you kind of do the Daniel Bryan all over again?
Yeah, I'd like to see them definitely spice that up, man, because I definitely do see a possibility with that. I think that would really bring, like you said, take my money, because that would just be insane. Who would win that? Who would win that? Who would go on with that? I mean, it's the way they're shaping up this WrestleMania card. Like, there's so many seeds that they're planting. We don't even know, and it's great to be a professional wrestling fan again. And just to see everything transpire, Heyman in the ring with CM Punk consulting him, like, "Are you all right?" And then Roman seeing that and just losing his mind, and let's not forget about the favor that he owes Punk. So there's so much that's in play here. And what I'm interested in is that triple threat match. If it is a triple threat match, do you add a stipulation to that match as far as like maybe a steel cage match, a Hell in a Cell, or just a street fight? Like what type of stipulation, or is it just going to be a traditional triple threat? That's what I'd like to know.
Last man standing, Ralph. I mean, that three-way match, could they do something along the lines of the Daniel Bryan storyline, where I believe he had to face at the time, what was it? Was it Triple H and Batista?
Triple H,
yeah,
Randy Orton.
Randy Orton,
and Batista.
But he had to defeat Triple H in order to get into that three-way, and he won the three-way and then won the championship. Is that something you could see them doing with CM Punk? So finally this storyline up, because it was finished the story with Cody Rhodes last year, and I feel like the storyline, even though a lot of people say, well, it's John Cena winning 17, is that what it is? Or is it CM Punk headlining WrestleMania finally and winning the title? And then, guys, you set up CM Punk versus Roman Reigns, where eventually you would see a Paul Heyman turn on a Roman Reigns, the wise man, for CM Punk.
Yeah, I could see that. And then I'll tell you what else I could see, too. I could see Cody Rhodes losing his belt to John Cena, and then SummerSlam getting it back. That's the rumor I'm hearing. But you forgot about the wild card. And the wild card is the Money in the Bank winner. Okay? You have to watch that. Because what happens is if you don't watch the Money in the Bank winner, you could get burned on this, okay? Because the Money in the Bank winner could turn it in anytime and win the title. So
I thought that was Drew. Wasn't that Drew who turned it in?
I'm talking about for this year. It could be whoever the wild card is in the Money in the Bank. Okay.
Rob, the shot looks good, by the way. The camera, the new camera shot, it looks good, bro.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, I have a new computer, and a friend of mine came over and put my new studio together. So thank you.
Ah, that's what I'm talking about. Good stuff, man. Everybody's looking good here on Turnbuckle. Not better shot, my friend. All right, let's go out to Mike
I
D.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. Non-sanctioned in a cell, three-way hell in the cell, three-way hell in the cell. I love that. Mike D. As you missed Vince McMahon, you missed the Vince McMahon roar there. Where's my Vince McMahon comment? I don't know where his. Oh, here it is.
Screw you! You're fired!
Hell in the
That
cell.
never gets old.
It
Boy,
does.
that's a classic right there, man. You're fired.
You're fired. Can someone tell me what CM Punk means in CM Punk? I thought it was Chicago man.
That's what I thought. Chicago made or something like
Chicago
that.
made, Chicago man.
I've heard chick magnet, punk. I don't know. There's so many things that I've heard. What
Especially
CM
with
stands
them
for.
who he's been hanging out with lately. You
Yeah.
see that, right? Wow.
Oh yeah.
And then Becky chiming in. What was it? Cora Jade. What,
Yeah,
saying,
'cause-
yeah. TLC match. Did they do that anymore? Can
I
we
don't
see a
know.
TLC
They
match?
don't even do the pay-per-view anymore that I remember.
I want a TLC match too. I think it's a
Yeah.
classic, guys. TLC match with
No, the best one's a steel cage. That's the best match right there.
Hell in the
For
Cell. That's for you. Hell in the
Yeah.
Cell match. Okay.
Yeah.
I like the Hell in a Cell. I do, but I think from what we saw on Monday night, that steel cage match, that was probably an all-time. Like normally, like I would just fall asleep and then I'd watch it the next day. But I was up, man, watching every single second of that, and that was probably one of the best steel cage matches I've ever seen in my life. Top 10.
Yeah, it was.
I mean,
it
top
was.
5.
Yeah, it was top
Classic.
rated there, Louis. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I agree with you 100.
Classic.
Match. All right. We're gonna go out to the
I'm
Hill
going,
Yard.
I'm going June 30th. Raw's in Pittsburgh, June 30th. I'll be
You
there.
go, and again,
Right.
Raw, all the events. Saturday night main event is coming to Tampa in May. Let's go out to the Hill
I
Mark.
should fly down for that.
Yeah, man, absolutely. Frankie, what's going on? What's on your mind? Welcome to Turnbuckle Talk.
Hey,
Hey, hey,
Frankie.
hey.
you know, the debut episode of the Circle
It's an
Society
omen, man. I'm telling you. With everything
my.
going on with the Rays, it's an omen.
podcast, the Squared Circle Society, March 22nd, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Now, wrestling talk, man. I was supposed to call you last week, but I had an MS flare up, so I want to talk base real quick on what I was supposed to talk to you about last week. The John Cena heel turn is the biggest and best heel turn there has been in the history of wrestling.
Since Hulk Hogan.
Let me explain. Because the Hulk Hogan heel turn, yes, it was big. Yes, it was impactful. At the time, that was the biggest thing in wrestling history. Now, the John Cena heel turn
Okay.
is even bigger. Why is this even bigger? Because John Cena is the #1 requested Make-A-Wish Foundation person. He grants wishes to sick and dying kids.
So
Then,
there it goes.
on top of that,
It's not gonna stay, guys. I'm
I just
gonna,
leave it, man.
I'm just
You
gonna
know,
leave
you
it.
are good.
I'm
He-
sorry, man.
Yeah.
he has been a baby face for 7,783 days.
Yes.
That is a Guinness Book of World Records. You can look it up.
So-
Honestly, and me and my friends were curious, who's the longest running heel? You know what I mean? If John Cena was the longest running babyface at 7,783 days, who's the longest running heel?
Who is the longest running hill, guys?
I would say
That's
like
good.
the Miz
I think
because nobody
Roman
liked
Reigns
him.
got to be in there.
Well,
Hulk
Miz-
Hogan.
No,
Miz-
honestly, I
face.
think it would be something like the Iron Sheik.
Iron Sheik.
Like
Okay.
you got to go back.
I don't know, man, because like I said, nobody's ever liked the Miz. Even when
Here's
they try to turn him.
Hey,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love
yeah.
the Miz.
Here's one, guys.
I've always been a Miz fan.
Hold on, Frankie. Here's one 60-40 BRNSN. The Four Horsemen and Lex Luger turn on Sting was also epic. And then eventually they turn on Lex Luger too. I mean, the Horsemen
Yes.
turned on everybody.
Yeah,
Everybody.
they turned on a lot of people.
Turn on everybody.
Let's see here. Mike D. Roche, I'm really getting bored of Tiffy time. I'm feeling the same way. I don't know. I get it.
No.
You
He's
know,
not ready.
Tiffany
Not
Stratton.
ready, man.
Charlotte Flair's taking it.
Problem with Tiffany Stratton is extremely talented. The problem is they're not booking her well enough. They are not supporting her title run
Yeah.
at all. So honestly, like if she loses the title at Mania, I wouldn't be surprised. However, if they do something ballsy and have her beat Charlotte, I know a lot of people will be pissed off. This person right here, me, myself, I'll be happy as hell because I'm not a big Charlotte fan.
Well,
I'm
there's
really
a lot of
not.
people that
I
are
like
out there.
what he's saying. He's onto something. I get what he's saying. The way
It's
they
like-
book her is not very well. If it's me, I would have her basically cheat in that match against Charlotte because in all reality, she's the underdog going in as the champion to WrestleMania against Charlotte. So why not have her, resort to some dirty
And
tactics
she's
and
a
have
better
her be a
heel.
heel?
Tiffy is a better heel.
Yes,
She
absolutely.
is a better
Yeah.
heel. Now,
Yeah.
is Charlotte a heel? Yes, Charlotte is heel. But have Tiffy pull another heel thing and get a dirty win.
Yeah.
Here's the thing that with when Vince was running WWE,
Yeah.
let's say that Vince was running WWE right now.
That would be
And
good.
Ti-
That would not be good,
and-
my friend.
And
No.
Tiffy was having a troubled time to run. Well, we're gonna give it to Charlotte. See you, Tiffy, and Tiffy would be gone.
Correct.
Triple H is running shit right now. Sorry for the language.
It's all right.
You got Papa H running everything.
Yes.
The things are gonna be different. He's gonna throw stuff in there that'll make you gonna go, huh? I mean, Cena turned heel.
Yeah. Well,
Come on, guys.
well, and listen,
Like,
Vince
if
would have
you-
never turned Cena heel, and they
It-
talked about it, and it never happened. I
Yeah.
still think Hogan's heel turn is probably
That
one of
one, yeah, and Roman Reigns too.
If-
he was
if-
a heel for a while.
Seth Rollins' heel turn was pretty epic too.
well, Seth Rollins.
We knew it was, yeah, it
Corporation,
was
yes.
it was pretty big, but I kind of sensed it coming because they kind of teased you a little bit because the fracture in the Shield, which was probably
Honestly,
one of the best factions I've seen in a while. But we were all warned about this John Cena stuff.
Well,
Bray Wyatt, you remember?
that's true.
When
And
Rollins
yeah.
hit Reigns with the chair,
Mhm.
and you seen Moxley / Ambrose give that look, it's the look of, hey, I thought I was supposed to get the heel turn.
Well, it
I mean,
was
seriously, go
a
back, replay it, watch.
it was a
Moxley
shock.
gives you the look of, I thought I was supposed to get the heel turn.
Mox
Ambrose
does some
should've
really
got the heel
weird.
turn. That's all I'm saying.
Well, no, I mean they did it the right way because Moxley is shown. I like him in AEW, but he's just not. He's not everything is advertised. It's not working. That Death Riders
No.
thing to be killed off. It's not good.
Well, the reason why the Death Riders isn't working is we don't know why. There is no why.
Well, there's never.
Why
any
are
why.
you-
There's no structure in AEW. Everything is completely meaningless.
Why are
There's
you
All,
no
all
structure.
AEW does, Frankie, is wrestle. They don't have any creativity. They don't have any any storylines. You
What
don't
was
see any of that.
the that last pay per view
Exactly,
they
that's
did?
I don't watch AEW as much as I used to. Granted, there's wrestlers I like to watch. Like, dude, Speedball just debuted today.
Yeah,
I was pretty excited about that.
Yeah, I don't know
I
what that
watched
is.
his match because I was like, dude, it's freaking Speedball.
Yeah,
Speedball
I'm-
I feel
again-
like we should be doing an 8-ball. If I don't know, if it,
I'm not a fan of AEW, especially like they had Tony Storm, who I like Tony Storm. I
I do
think what
too.
she does over there is really good. But that last match that they had with the glass and the slash, that I don't like that. I'm so turned off by that and stuff like that with AEW. I get they're trying to get the viewership. You're not gonna get
Yeah.
viewership
I'm
like
getting
that.
tired, Louis. I'm getting tired of the tournaments. I'm getting
Yeah,
sick
it's
of
just,
that.
everything's
And then,
meaningless.
and then,
There's
and then they
no-
break it up into like 3 different brackets: the gold bracket, the orange bracket, the red bracket, that kind of thing. I'm
yeah,
tired
it's just
of it.
We
I
got
think
a turquoise bracket. We got a gold bracket. We got a blue
Yeah,
bracket.
that's what I'm
in
saying,
the
yeah.
early stages of
Have you ever
AEW.
Movie,
was-
have you ever seen the movie Basketball?
Oh
That's
yeah,
it's beginning to sound like the brackets in the AEW are beginning to sound like the playoffs in basketball. After 8 months of the grueling seasons
That's funny.
of regular season,
That's great.
we are in month 9 of
Month
the playoffs.
9. Yeah. It's, who is that? Bob Costas and the other, who is it? Al Michaels. That was
Don't
great.
touch me, Daddy.
Don't touch me,
I
exactly.
mean, come on, man.
Yeah. All right.
Tony Khan is just a huge mark that's got a big budget paycheck.
It's terrible with the long-term storytelling. They do a terrible job of long-term booking. They've done
They're
Well,
doing a very good job with their football team.
I'll tell you a little story here real quick, guys. Father's involved now. Tony Khan ran this all on his own. The father's getting involved. The family's getting a little frustrated because he's losing all this money every year. And that's why the father now has gotten involved.
Well, there you go. Frankie, appreciate the call, man.
I don't want to see AEW go under because I feel like
They
the
won't.
reason why WWE's been on top of its game right now is because of this competition. Competition is very good. It's just, again, with the AEW, there's no structure there. You have a lot of top talent, like, again, a guy that just left, formerly known as Aleister Black, Malachi Black. Why didn't you do anything with him? Him and Cody Rhodes, I thought their storyline was very underrated, and I thought they did some really good things. And you just did absolutely nothing with him. You didn't utilize him. And there's a lot of other guys. Jay White is another guy who I really like from New Japan. And then, the Guns too. They don't do anything with these. I don't know. I'm giving myself a headache talking about AEW and trying to explain to myself.
It's the same
just not a
talent,
good
Louis,
company.
over and over again. The same
Yeah,
talent.
it's the same
And
thing.
It's
You know?
MJF. It's Paige there.
Even MJF's getting stale. Like I can't even. It's too repetitive. You're a one trick pony, and unfortunately, again, I can't find myself
And
to watch
Kenny
it.
Omega, he's been hurt so many times. I think he needs to retire. So,
I think the problem with him is, again, if he went to a WWE, I think he'd be a little bit more protected.
yes.
I just think that he's doing these guys. I heard The Undertaker say it on a podcast. You don't need to do all this flippy stuff every single night because at the end of the day, and I'm not a big fan of Jim Cornette, but he's actually right in what he says.
Oh, Jim Cornette's real good at what he says.
Yeah, like
a lot of
he says it perfectly. These guys are doing moves that are so meaningless. Like, back in the day, I mean, WWE is kind of guilty of it too with the kicking out. Like, but there's a time and a place for that, and that's called WrestleMania. These big time premium live events, as they like to call them. I still call them pay-per-views. That's when you even you could make an exception for this Monday when they kept on kicking out of each other's finishers, stuff like that, because there's a real driven keyword, everybody, storyline behind it. With AEW, it's just you have guys kicking. Kenny Omega does the one wing angel, and the guy's kicking out of it 3-4 times. It's just there's no meaning to it. So it's just I lose interest in it. There's no. It's enough of that. I'm giving myself a headache talking about AEW.
I know you are, and I do the same thing here. All right, let's see. Let's go out to Mike D. Roche. What the hell does yeet mean? Does anybody know what that means?
No,
it's just a terminology now. Like a lot of the kids are using,
and it's selling like crazy.
Yeah, no cap and all that stuff. It's just slang words. I actually got a shirt.
The next champion.
Yeah,
because his marketing.
Oh yeah.
Also, triple threat: Bianca versus Jade versus Naomi. Bianca possible heel turn. Is that what we see here? Because I called it. I that whole storyline, and I'll get back to this in a moment. Let's go out to the phone lines here on Turnbuckle Talk. Here we go. Let's go out to Sun Devil Dave using his second call here. Welcome to Turnbuckle Talk. What's on your mind tonight, boss?
Great job again, guys.
Thank you.
Real quick, I know we're talking about longest reigning heel turns and former professional football players, great wrestler reigns, but I was looking at just longest overall reign. I know they're talking about like Backlund and Bruno Sammartino. Do you know who has the longest WWE title reign? Is Fabulous Moolah. 28 years.
Does.
I didn't realize that.
I didn't. I thought it was also Bruno Sammartino. Didn't Bruno
Sammartino has it as well?
Right.
And in fact,
2803, but Moolah had it for 28 years, 10,000 days, something crazy. I didn't realize that she had the title, so I thought it was ridiculous. So real quick, I noticed that WWE before this WrestleMania moment here, in April in Vegas, they've been kind of transitioning now with these triple threat matches, and,
Yeah.
and Ripley lost her title. Now you're probably thinking it's probably going to be a triple threat with Belair, Ripley, and Sky. Then now there's a rumor, of course, you're seeing CM Punk may go into a triple threat with Rhodes and Cena. So what is causing this movement now where you're seeing triple threat? Is it just think they want to get more bang for the buck? Is it just better storylines? Where do you see going this? And then, of course, with LA Knight winning it over Nakamura, there's a lot of title switches right before WrestleMania, which is, I thought, kind of odd, but maybe you could help me out with this.
Well, I would say
What do you
this.
think,
I'll just my opinion on this point. I mean, more star power, right? I mean, there are
Right.
storylines aplenty. You got Cody Rhodes defending his title with finishing his story last year. Can he hold on to it? Will he be able to hold on to it versus John Cena, who now is a heel? Hold on a sec, Dave. Curtis, we got Sun Devil Dave on here. We'll finish up with him. We'll come out to you. Stand by. All right, my friend?
Yep.
All right. Sun Devil, we'll go back out to you here as a man in the phone lines. I mean, listen, John Cena now is heel. He has The Rock in his corner. He sold his soul. Is that the storyline there? Him and Travis Scott, which we'll get back to Scott in just a moment here because there's an update on him. And then you include CM Punk, which I think could be the real storyline at this point because he's never headlined a WrestleMania. So if he has that triple threat, is that a headline WrestleMania, or do you do that triple threat to get him in the main event versus Cody Rhodes, which they have some storyline there?
Right. I like the night one where you go with the Reigns, Rollins, CM Punk, and then he gets the favor from Heyman.
Right.
If he wins that match, then he gets to fight triple threat the next night. I think that would be amazing. I don't know. That's a lot of
True.
a lot of wrestling.
That's a
for
lot of
CM Punk, who's-
wrestling. Yes.
Who's,
Yes.
I think he's on. You got to really. He's not really made out of glass, but you got to really kind of baby CM Punk because he's on his last legs. But that's asking a lot. But you never know. And then, real quick, we got 4 nights at Tampa in May.
I
That,
know.
right?
We all need to get together and
Isn't that
go.
crazy?
We need to get
Saturday
together
night
and
main
go.
event.
Yeah.
NXT or the Sunday event NXT, right? Or there's 2 NXT events?
I got to go to Saturday night main event. You got
Right. We
NXT,
gotta
you
get that
got
going.
Saturday night
Yeah.
main event.
Monday Night Raw.
Monday Night Raw.
And then
That'll be
NXT.
at Raw June 30th.
Okay. Well, there you go.
Wow.
That's
You'll be at Raw, and then you got NXT Tuesday, Monday Night Raw. Is there a Sunday night, or is it just? I don't know how it works, but I know
I don't
there's
know.
Saturday night main event, so I got to take a
Yeah,
look
there's
at that.
just 4 nights. I'll have to look at Ticketmaster, but there's
Yes.
4 consecutive nights in Tampa of wrestling. So that's going to be great.
Yep.
And glad to see it back here in Tampa.
SmackDown
again.
on Friday, so it's SmackDown on Friday.
Oh, SmackDown
Saturday
Friday,
night
okay.
main event on
Sunday.
Saturday.
Must be
Yeah,
okay.
Saturday. And
Probably NXT on
Mo-
Sunday.
Monday Raw.
Sunday, and then
Yeah, it
Monday
must be
Night
NXT
Raw.
Sunday and then Monday Night Raw. So
Yeah.
there's your 4 nights.
There you go. I don't know
That's
if I'm
gonna be
going to all
crazy.
4 nights, but I'll go.
Yeah, I'm going to go Saturday
Saturday night main
so-
event. See Jesse the Body Ventura, who, by the way, was 1 year as a
Right.
color analyst for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Look that up, kids.
Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
I didn't realize that.
1990. Yes,
And he
1990.
was also color analyst for XFL. Don't forget that.
Yes,
Yeah.
he was.
That's right. While he was mayor.
It's over, McMahon.
He was our governor.
All right, all right, Sun Devil
But
Dave.
thanks again, guys.
Yes.
Have a great one, Dave. Thank you.
Have
Yes,
a great rest of the week. We'll see you tomorrow at work.
say it. Great job.
Everybody.
All right, there you go. Let's go out to Curtis here. Curtis, using your second call. Welcome to Turnbuckle Talk.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Man, we're doing good. We're
Good.
almost at 3 hours.
Come on, Curtis.
Great.
Hey man, it's only 3 hours because we're having a great damn time.
I'm telling you, besides that stupid sign, I don't like seeing that shadow in the back. You know, I'm a perfectionist, so I see my shadow and it doesn't look good.
Hey brother, we ain't worried about that, man. We know we on the phone with bling bling Blake. We ain't studying that shit.
Hey, Curtis, I call on Mondays, so I know the feeling, buddy.
There you go.
Absolutely,
There you go, man.
absolutely.
All right. What's
All
up?
right, guys. So listen, Turnbuckle Talk. Did we? So was I the only person surprised that Roman Reigns showed up on Monday?
I don't think we were surprised. I just think at the end of it, it was kind of like surreal because nobody thought, and you could see Heyman and Punk there, and we've seen the interaction. And it was, what's the word I'm looking for? It was gracious. It wasn't like hostile because CM Punk helped Roman Reigns at the time with the Bloodline match, but then there was a favor. And now this is the first time we see the interaction because they were kind of, teasing it a little bit. And we've heard in the background that there's going to be a match. And of course, you're going to do a match between CM Punk and Roman Reigns.
Of
But
course.
now we finally see the physical altercation. We're like, okay. Now we got something. Now something is cooking.
Yep. Well, here's the thing. Wrestling is going to a place of greatness. Like, wrestling was already good. Don't get me wrong. Like, let me retract that statement. The Attitude Era was great. Okay.
Best era.
After the Attitude Era, we had the Ruthless Aggression, which was okay.
Mm-hmm.
You had 10, 15 years of John Cena showing up every Monday, every Friday, whatever. We have a lot of great superstars that were rolling with Cena. You had Edge and Christian and the Hardys, and you had Randy Orton and Batista and all these guys. And now wrestling is great again.
Cooking.
It's really, I look so forward to watching wrestling again. Like, I literally come home from work on Mondays and Fridays, and nothing else is matter. Like, hey, what the hell? What happened on wrestling?
Yeah, I haven't had to change the channels for a while there, Curtis.
I may have to start getting off early here to watch wrestling because it sounds so good, and I saw the highlights and stuff, and I watched some of the recap. But
You got to watch that. You didn't see the cage match?
Oh, I seen it. Yeah, that was
Dude,
so good.
And I still can't get over that. That was a classic.
Yeah, that
It was a classic.
yes.
It was greatness, and it's just like this wrestling. Listen, we thought last year's WrestleMania was huge. This one's already turning out to look like it's gonna be better than that one.
I know.
The way they're planting the seeds for things to happen at Mania, it's I'm very much vested into it. I really am. This is probably the best time. I mean, you're never gonna beat the Attitude Era. You're never gonna beat that era. But right now, I would say it's really cooking, and whatever Triple H is doing, man, keep doing it. And he's also has a really good supporting cast around him. You know, he's really got his finger on the pulse, and this guy is working constantly to scout new talent as well.
He's got great experienced people around him.
Yep.
I'll even go ahead and say this. For a long time, when NXT first started up, remember the early days of NXT? Well, I shouldn't say the early days, but like the Oscars. I remember when Shinsuke Nakamura first debuted against Sami Zayn. That's one of my favorite matches of all time.
Yeah.
One of my favorite matches of all time. If you haven't, go back and go look at that match that they had. Just the crowd, the energy there, like, and them two just made magic. Like it's probably in my top 10 favorite matches of all time. But those early stages of NXT with Finn Balor and the rest of them, you know, some of those NXT events were better than what Raw and SmackDown were putting out.
He was the NXT champion.
Yeah.
Great.
Yes, absolutely.
I got a question to ask you guys. We were talking about wrestling at work.
Okay, go for it.
You know, everybody has their GOAT debate,
Mm-hmm.
right?
We always do this. Yes.
How hard is it to pick out one GOAT for wrestling?
It's not hard.
You don't think so?
Nope, it's one guy, in my
Just one
opinion.
guy?
Who's
guy.
the one guy?
It's Stone Cold. He single-handedly saved the WWE slash WWE. It's Stone Cold. I mean,
Yeah,
he
during
changed.
the Attitude Era, Louis,
Yeah.
he did. Yes.
Guys, I'm sorry. I hate to tell you this. Everybody wants to say Ric Flair. I get it. Great wrestler, probably one of the greatest of all time. Stone
Hulk
Cold.
Hogan.
Yes, it's always going to be Hogan for me
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
Hulk Hogan transcended the business.
And that right there is the conversation because everybody has their opinion.
Yes, gotta love it.
Everybody does.
Yes.
Yeah.
Don't
mean-
get me wrong. Listen, I love Stone Cold. I love Hulk Hogan. I was a huge Dusty Rhodes fan. I was a huge Ric Flair fan.
Mm.
But for me, I love The Undertaker.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, how could you not love John Cena? Like, you know, I remember my oldest son is about to be 20 years old.
Yes.
And I remember him and his brother, who just turned 18. We're in Walmart. They are spazzing out because they want the spinning title that John Cena has
Oh yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
in
Yes.
Walmart. They're spazzing out in the store.
Yes.
So but other than that, for me, And people might not agree. I'm a huge Shawn Michaels fan. Shawn
I like
Michaels.
Shawn a lot.
Shawn Michaels does not get the credit he deserves. He
No,
doesn't.
I mean it was because of all the issues and stuff like that. I like Shawn, but I mean, if you had to ask me, I like Bret a lot better. I loved Bret Hart growing up as a kid, and I think I was so upset when they did the heel run with him because I really liked him. I was like, oh, come on, man! And they did the whole Canada versus USA thing, the flagpole matches and stuff. I loved all that stuff, but Bret Hart, he was just so good at disrespecting the United States and America, and then he would go to Canada and be like he would be cheered like a god, you know what I'm saying? And it was so good. I again, Bret Hart, you got to put him up there too.
You got to definitely put him
I
up
mean-
there. I think you got to put Undertaker up there.
Oh yeah,
Right.
the backbone of the company.
You-
You know,
And for me, you could say the same thing about Edge. Edge is so underrated because people don't, because you
Curtis,
have
we
all
always
these other
have this
guys.
conversation about Chris Jericho. Even though he's wrestling in AEW, he's reinventing
course.
himself. Chris Jericho is
Constantly.
a great wrestler. We're going to look back and we're going to say, damn, that guy with what he did in WWE for all those years, the longevity.
You got
yeah.
Jericho.
Yeah.
You got Sting.
Yeah.
You got all these guys. Even now,
Sting's a sad case for me because what could have been if Sting goes
Yeah.
to WWE and maybe you get a chance to see Sting versus Undertaker. And I think everybody wanted to see that match. But Sting and what kind of global superstar he could have become if he were, and again, it doesn't work for everybody. People say, well, maybe his character would have been ruined, right? Well, Booker T is a great example. Booker T goes from WCW at first, he's kind of a joke, and then he's King Booker, and he got over, and he's a Hall of Famer.
Yep.
Maybe you do the same thing with Sting. Who knows? And Sting
Yeah.
goes over there too.
we all remember Goldberg's run in the WCW.
Yes,
That was legendary.
yes, but
Like,
the
you-
run in
no one will
WWE,
ever
the
forget
first run was not good. I didn't think it was memorable at all. I watched some of the matches. And
I think
Yeah.
when they did that with The Rock, I don't think they should have did that with The Rock to
Agreed.
introduce Goldberg. I thought they should have did that with somebody else. Kind of, how like WCW built them up with the record and stuff like that. I felt like they should have just had somebody like go out there, shoot a promo, like just rambling off nonsense and like saying stupid things to the crowd, and then you hear the doom, that like
Yes.
that would have pumped up the crowd, and you slowly start to build. When you put him, and I'm gonna say this, when you introduce a WCW guy right off the rip with a megastar in The Rock, that's tough to do. It is. It's tough to do, and it kind of makes a break, And I felt like Goldberg was kind of hindered by that a little bit.
I think they waited too long too. I think
Yeah.
it would have been nice for when
Well,
that
that was the problem with a lot of the bigger stars.
the
from
worst
WCW.
angle they ever did was the WCW invasion without the WCW guys. They
Yeah.
had
Yep.
Booker T, but who else did they have? They didn't have Goldberg.
Nope.
You didn't have NWO. You didn't
Nope.
have the main. You didn't have even have Ric Flair at the time. I don't think it
Nope.
was just so poorly done. And what could have been like if you want to go back into a time machine for wrestling fans, you would
Oh,
want
my God.
those guys to come on over and do that invasion and do it right. I mean, Scott
Yep.
Steiner didn't come over until late. I mean,
Absolutely.
it was
You know what
just,
I think? You know what I think? What the problem was with that? Vince McMahon pulled the trigger on that way too early.
Yep.
I think he should have, once he purchased that, he should have had Shane McMahon. Obviously, they did the angle. I now own WCW, but they should have sat down with those guys. They would have made a boatload of money if they would have been patient. I don't care if a year went by. Try to get those guys on the same page to do and really like hammer in this angle. How are we going to do this? We got to incorporate ECW and all this stuff, because I love the ECW. Not everything about ECW, but there was a lot of raw talent. Jericho made his way through ECW.
Rey Mysterio, Eddie Guerrero.
All those guys did.
Yes.
So, in my opinion, I feel like they rushed that WCW invasion way too right away. You had Booker T coming out. No, man, you should have waited 6 months to a year to really start getting things going when people least expected it. A WrestleMania thing. How crazy would that have been if instead of Booker T coming out, what was it, Monday Night Raw, doing the scissors kick to Stone Cold? How crazy would it have been if you had Rock and Stone Cold at WrestleMania, and then at the end of that match, whoever won, Booker T come out and just attack both of them?
Yeah.
And then that's how you start that angle. And because he was the last champion of WCW, and then you start to slowly introduce these guys. I felt like they pulled the trigger way too fast on that.
They pulled the trigger too early here, Ralph, because the story was when they did the match between Buff Bagwell and who was the other guy? Was it Booker T at the time? They did that match.
Yes, it was Booker T. Yes.
Such a terrible match because the talk was at the time they were going to take WCW's talent, which wasn't great. Yeah, then Mike Awesome and the Thrillers and Lance Storm and Hugh Morris, and again we talk about Booker T, but they didn't have the big guys. They were going to take
big names.
They were going to take those names and they were going to have a separate entity. They were going to have a separate show like ECW. They were going to do a WCW show, but because the rating tanked so hard and because the match was so terrible,
Yes.
scrapped that altogether.
Vince McMahon could have got more out of that if just like how Tony Khan right now does ROH and AEW. He could have done the same thing in the WWE. But the only problem is that just like ECW, it never worked out when Vince McMahon took it over. It wasn't the same. It wasn't where he wanted it to be. Yes, exactly.
You know what else? I'm gonna tell you, the invasion also would have been great. Is that Stone Cold and Rock in the ring is perfect. If you would have had the NWO come out and just beat them down and spray paint their backs like everybody else used to.
Yeah, there was so much they could have
everybody
done.
that was in the faction in WCW that came to WWE at the time when Vince McMahon bought it, it wasn't the same.
No, and then you had Stone Cold and
Vince didn't
Kurt
make it like
Angle switching teams. That it was just due to a lack of star power on WCW's and they really couldn't do anything. I think the only good thing that came out of that invasion pay-per-view or all those angles was that the Jeff Hardy and Rob Van Dam match for the hardcore title. That was a classic. That was a good match.
That was a good match.
Great
that
match.
was about it.
That's still a great man. Oh my God!
Listen, Stone Cold joining up with WCW makes about as much sense because he was fired by Eric Bischoff, which is another guy you didn't have in that invasion, which would have been amazing. I get it. You have Paul Heyman and Stephanie McMahon. It made no sense. It's like bringing the NWO out to defend Sting. I know Sting was in the red and black, but he wasn't in the white and black at the time. So
yeah, he fought the white and black NWO for the longest time, and just to have that, you stole his moment.
And then he had that red and black too. NWO that was nuts.
Oh, Sting with the goatee. Oh, I didn't.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's not Sting.
Curtis, appreciate the call, man. All right, man. Good stuff. All right, let's go out to the comments, and then I think we'll wrap this call up.
Peter, before you wrap it up, can I make a small announcement here? This Saturday, Ross Township Community Center, if you live in Western Pennsylvania, the celebration of Bruno Sammartino. Corey Graves will be there. Also, his brother Sam Adonis, and I am friends with the promoter and his father Dan Polinsky, who is putting this on with the Pros of Wrestling. They always put on a great card. Eight matches. It's bell times at 6 p.m. I will be there along with Smoking Jim Frazier. So stop by and say hello to us, and we'll be there as well. And Corey Graves will be there, and it's going to be interesting. Actually, Corey Graves is going to be his old character.
Interesting. All right. So we'll see if he comes back in the fold there as an announcer. I don't know what's happened with that situation.
Well, he's in NXT right now. So.
All right, so there you go. 640 BRNSN, also triple threat Bianca versus Jade versus Naomi. Bianca possibly heel turn. I could definitely see that. Certainly looks like she may have known. Of course, the storyline is Naomi did it for her. Did she know? It feels like what was it? The Rock storyline there with Rikishi. I did it.
Well, I called this, Peter, and I said this when Jade Cargill first came to the WWE. She is a singles wrestler. She's not a tag team wrestler, and she's looking for singles gold like she had in AEW. So I predicted this, and I knew this was going to happen sooner or later. And she is going to be a singles title holder.
Well, she should be, and I would love to see her versus, I think, eventually Naomi, but it could be Bianca. Yeah. It could be a match. Now, I think you wait until next WrestleMania. You build up to that. Maybe if you want to turn Bianca heel.
SummerSlam.
I think you could turn her heel because already Montez Ford, her husband, is turned heel.
Yeah, she's getting that whole gimmick too of her. It's getting stale.
Yep. The Rays will be sold tomorrow because of the sign falling. Thank you, Christopher Cole. Appreciate that. So it's a good omen. Hopefully they are sold, as you can see.
Oh, I'm part of the ownership group, Peter. I put in $5.
Okay, very good. Thank you very much, Ralph. Appreciate that. Let's go out to Mike DeRose, Omega and Jericho, born in my hometown. Very cool. Mike again. Moolah had the belt that long. She really didn't have any competition except Wendy Richter. She fought jobbers. Yeah, that was very true. I mean, who else did she have there? I can't even think of any women wrestlers at that time. Stone Cold shows up for Cody to counter Rock and Cena. Yeah, a year too late because it should have happened last year. What an amazing reception that would have been to have Stone Cold show up instead of The Undertaker, although it was great for The Undertaker to choke slam The Rock to hell. But it would have been...
I'll throw out two names Moolah fought
Okay.
consistently. Mae Young, and she fought Leilani Kai. She fought them two a lot.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. There you go. So there are a couple names there. But going back to it, Stone Cold's been talked about, was talked about last year. WWE couldn't meet his financial demands. Louis, is this the way you go? Stone Cold shows up to help Cody out with The Rock and Cena.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost like you said, a year too late, but I mean, it's Stone Cold. You got to do it. The rivalry between him and The Rock can't be matched. I mean, like those guys had great feuds, and why not? Why not now? I mean, I get why they did The Undertaker. I get it. And I wouldn't be surprised too if we don't see a lot of the same stuff happening like we did see last year. I do think The Undertaker is going to be involved somehow, some way. But yeah, you got to have Stone Cold, man. Just you have to. But how do you do it? Like it's got to be if it's Stone Cold, it has to be perfect. It can't. I don't know. How do you do it? How do you bring him into that fold? Because there is a lot going on with. I mean, there's still a lot of stuff. We don't know what's going on with like the triple threat. Like, is there going to be implications for the main event? There's still so much. But one thing I will say real quickly, they have to be careful with doing stuff like that, because now you're making the Elimination Chamber and the Royal Rumble a little bit meaningless, because it's like, all right, you always have a chance. Now you really got to work to get into that main event WrestleMania. But I understand, as long as it's not watered down, they keep doing this type of stuff.
Good point, Ralph. You bring in Stone Cold there to counter with against The Rock and Cena.
Yeah, I believe you do that. It just makes the match more entertaining. I mean, Stone Cold, when he comes and appears for anything, it's always an entertainment thing, and that's a great. That's what this business is about now, is entertainment.
It is, absolutely. Let's go out to this right here, WrestleMania main event. Barry Horowitz, who used to pat himself on the back, versus the Brooklyn Brawler. Your thoughts?
Yeah.
Seriously,
That's
thoughts.
my man, the Brooklyn Brawler, man. There you go.
This guy sucks.
Shut up!
All right, good stuff there, Mike. Appreciate you. CJ Mosley has been cut, 32 years old. I don't know. Maybe the Bucks are interested. A little bit long in the tooth, but he would be a veteran presence.
4.5 million is what I'd offer for 1 year. Maybe a little bit less than that. That's about it.
Yeah, he's probably going to look for more than that. And then on top of it, you get Mosley. You got Mosley at 32, Levante David at 35.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Age and defense, man.
Yeah, that's
I heard some talk about Cody Mock. What's going on with him?
He's still there.
Earlier.
He's still there.
Oh,
Somebody
yes.
suggested to get Becton. I think it was Frankie in his Christmas list, aka Madden wish list. All right, we'll end off on these couple notes here. According to Brian Alvarez, Travis Scott is actually training to wrestle currently, which Dave Meltzer has said also, while adding something he's heard from his WWE sources. The thing is, like, he's in the main group. I mean, it's like the main Hill group. It's like The Rock, Travis Scott, and John Cena. Meltzer claimed it's like he's not just some celebrity who just, happened to be there for the angle. He's in the lead Hill group. Yeah. Either way, Scott's actions in Elimination Chamber have garnered him a significant amount of heat. Veteran Bully Ray had some harsh words to say about Scott, opening that he deserves to have his jaw shattered and wired shut, while also adding that he hopes Rhodes is the one to give him his receipt. Bully's fiery response seems to be out of experience as well, as he recalled having his eardrum broken in 2015. The injury Rhodes reportedly suffered at the hand of Scott and endured the consequences of the injury for a year later. That is painful. I have vertigo. I can't imagine how your equilibrium is off. I wonder how it affects the match. I get it. You're trying to make it realistic and put Scott in there, but man, that was not good. And you could hear the shot, how he just shattered his eardrum. I mean, your thoughts on this, Travis Scott? Take my money here, the Fiend. Not the Fiend, but Fiend. That's his song there. Of course, the official song of WrestleMania 41. Wrestling. Louis, you buying this?
Yeah, because I did see something where he said he wants to stop. He wants to start doing it and stuff like that. I mean, you know my feelings about him. I'm not a fan of his. I know why WWE brings him in. It's more viewers and bigger audience, and
Yeah.
I completely understand. But I'm not with all the satanic stuff he does. Especially he has a lot of in his music. It's scriptures right out of the Satanic Bible and stuff like that. I mean, hey, if that's what you're into, that's what you're into. I'm not a fan of his, and a lot of people got hurt and lost their lives at his concert, and he just showed no remorse for it, never stopped the show. That's why I'm not a fan of his, but I hope Cody gives him that potato right back.
Yeah.
Big, what his Nate Diaz says? A big, nice stocking slap. I mean, he's gonna. I mean, if it was me, all jokes aside, if I had the opportunity, absolutely, I'm gonna give you a potato. Absolutely, I'm gonna give it right back to you. And
Give
that's
him a
not
potato.
cool, man. I know what that's like, having vertigo and stuff. Just not fun. It just feels like you're drunk all the time.
Ugh.
I have a dream match for you. Logan Paul versus Travis Scott.
Who do you want
No.
to win? Well, how
I
about
would say-
Travis Scott versus Bad Bunny?
Yeah, there you go. That's a good one. Yeah, that would
Good
be a good
match.
one. Yeah.
And I would be rooting
Yeah.
for Bad Bunny because I think Bunny can wrestle. He can
Yes.
wrestle.
Oh yeah.
So
I
But,
like what Bully Ray had to say. You know, I wasn't really a big fan of him, but I'll give him his respect, man. The dude's straightforward. He's a straight shooter, and I like that. And he's very honest with his words.
Yes.
And I will say that. I mean, he had a pretty decent run in TNA. Not gonna lie.
he had a very good run with what was it? The heel group that was like NWO.
Oh,
Motorcycle
Aces and Eights,
Aces
was
and
it?
Eights. Yeah,
Yeah.
Aces and
The
Eights.
aces and eights.
As
Yeah.
he was the husband of Brooke Hogan there. They did the
Oh,
whole
that was
thing, and
that was timeless.
That
That
was-
was.
that was
I'm
interesting.
actually gonna go back and go look
I
at
had
some of
the
those
privilege
highlights.
of meeting him. I had the privilege of meeting Bully Ray.
What was he
I
like?
was- He's good. I had the privilege of meeting Kazarian, Cody Rhodes. A couple times I met Cody Rhodes, once with ROH, once with AEW. I used to work security for ROH here in Pittsburgh at the Stage AE event place. Where all the ROH tapings were. I met Tony Atlas.
Oh,
I
wow.
met the Young Bucks. I met a lot of people.
Good stuff.
I have a cool story to tell about the name Cody. So, real quickly before we go. So, around the time when Cody was doing the ROH stuff, doing the Bullet Club stuff, which was I thought it was an amazing time for Ring of Honor and stuff like that. And I loved the Bullet Club shirts, especially the American Nightmare one. I actually still have that somewhere around there.
Nice.
So my girlfriend winded up getting pregnant, and we could not think of any names. So we were just sitting down, and I was just kind of flipping through the channels, and ROH was on. It was obviously the taping, and then Cody Rhodes was shooting a promo, and then they said his name, and then we both looked at each other, and I was like, "How about it's a boy? Why don't we just name him Cody?" She goes, "Yeah, that's his name, and that's my son's name, Cody."
Wow.
All right. Good stuff, man. That's good. That's excellent. Good stuff there. All right. So Raw was at Madison Square Garden on March 10th, of course, a couple days ago there. WWE is taking their main roster show to Europe and United Kingdom for the rest of the month. Check this out, guys. They will continue that case with the next 3 episodes of SmackDown, which will run their usual primetime Friday night slot on USA Network after taping a few hours earlier in Barcelona, Spain on March 14th. Bologna in Italy and March 21st and London on March 28th. But now with Raw being on Netflix, those shows will run live on the streamer as they happen. In fact, pay attention. Next week, March 17th in Brussels at 3 p.m.
You mean for Raw, Peter, right?
For Raw.
Yes,
Yeah.
for Raw. For Raw. 3 p.m. next Monday in Brussels. 4 p.m. on March 24th in Glasgow, Scotland. And March 31st from London, another 3 p.m. start. Fellas, what do we think of the 3 p.m. starts? It's kind of funny because I remember Raw. Remember when they used to preempt it for Wimbledon coverage and you have it taped, but now it's going to be live, although it's going to be at 3 p.m. I have to work. Maybe I can get out of work early.
Well, I have to end my fishing expedition because I'm going to Ocean City, Maryland next weekend.
Okay.
Oh, nice.
So you're not going to get a chance to watch it?
Well, I'm going to see what I can do. I'm going fishing, and I'm looking at some property down there. So,
man, you gotta bring your phone with you. Just watch it while you're fishing.
Yeah, I can watch it on my phone. Yeah, I have a Netflix subscription. I have my
All right,
tablet with me too.
There you go, Louis. All right, you watch
I can sit by the dock there by the boardwalk and just watch and fish at the same time.
There you go. What better day than that? Louis, you watching 3-4 p.m. there on Netflix on Monday?
I don't know if I'll catch at 3, but the beauty of it is you can go right back to it and stream it. But what I am looking forward to is the crowds. The crowd out there in Europe, sorry, United States, but the crowd out there in Europe, that's a whole different atmosphere. Yeah. There's a lot more energy. You see it. I forgot, where were they when they did, this is probably right around the time Triple H first kind of took over. I think it was like the first European tour that he did. Yeah. I can't remember where it was,
France.
But was it? What was it?
Well, it was France.
Was it France? Jay came out. That crowd, it was a little bit smaller venue though, but that crowd was so electric, and you knew from the rest of the night it was just everything that was going on. They were chanting, they were saying things. I didn't even understand what they were saying.
Yeah.
But again, you see the difference in the show on like how much you see the performers. Just you see those guys, they feed off that energy, and the matches are so much better. It's insane. Not to take nothing away from the U.S. crowds.
Yes.
But those little bit smaller venues out there in Europe, man, there's just something different about them.
All right. Good stuff there. Christopher Cole says glass breaking intro is iconic, and I'm right. Hi, Peter. What's going on, boss? How you doing? All right. Last announcement or last story we're talking about tonight, and then we'll get you out of here on Turnbuckle Talk. Hall of Fame has not been officially announced, but it looks like the Natural Disasters will be inducted along with Lex Luger. Michelle McCool, Triple H. Confirmation comes from the surviving member of their massive WWF Tag Team Championship holding team, Fred Typhoon Ottman, a.k.a. Tugboat, and brief.
John Tenta, he died, I believe, right?
He did. So what is Fred Ottman known for? One of the worst gimmicks of all time, one of the worst intros of all time. You got to watch this, Louis. And by the way, WWE has made a WCW channel with all the old highlights.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Who is Fred Ottman, guys? He was only Tugboat in WWE, but who was he in WCW?
I know this. Give me a second.
I got to play some music here.
You might have to, but I know.
How about new?
How about the Shockmaster?
Oh my God!
Remember, he goes to the
wall. You can hear Ric Flair in the background. I told you it wasn't gonna work. Oh my God! I'm gonna go back and watch that tonight too.
Who did the voice of the Shockmaster at the time? Do you guys know this?
Wasn't it? Was it Vader?
Vincent Price.
It was not. It was Arn Anderson.
It was Arn Anderson.
Get out of here! Wow,
Arn Anderson, and they couldn't stop laughing.
Who's back coaching Cody Rhodes?
There you go. Yeah. This during the Bill Apter podcast, Ottman talked about getting the news that he and the late John Earthquake Tenta Jr. will be members of the 2025 Hall class from WWE executive Bruce Pritchard. It's an honor. It was crazy when I got the phone call. Mr. Pritchard called me. Couldn't believe it. I was like, wow, what an incredible thing. I always say there are so many guys that are so worthy to be there that aren't yet. For this to happen is amazing. The Natural Disasters were only together for a couple of years as an act, pairing up in summer 1991, departing then the WWF in 1993. They won the belts from Money Incorporated. And in 1992, after turning babyface, two massive men that weighed a combined 852 pounds. It's a lot of beef. They were known for their power. Ottman credits something else for their popularity, however. I think because we were physically able to do a lot of stuff that smaller guys did, we worked together. So we worked so good together. He also shared with the Apter why he and Tenta were a great team on and off the screen. Earthquake was literally my brother from another mother. I tell him that all the time because we cut up and joke and have a good time. And John was just amazing as an athlete. I was proud when they put us together. When we were on the road, it was like, I hate to use this term, a married couple. Wow. We go to the movies, we go shopping together, all that stuff. And we were hot on TV at that point in time. I remember going with his family, my family, to Disney World in Florida when we were there. And that was when we were hot off of TV. These mean hills, we were riding in the Dumbo ride and we're riding It's a Small World After All. It was great. I never had to worry about him. He never had to worry about me. We were always where we were supposed to be. We'd be early, whatever needed to be done. We did it. And that makes for perfect business. Sadly, cancer took Tenta in 2006 at the too young age of 42
Wow.
years old. Before the natural disasters, Earthquake was a foil for the company's top baby faces in the late 80s, like Jake Roberts, Hulk Hogan, who at the time was allied with Ottman's Tugboat. Tenta would go to wrestle in Japan, and for WCW as the Shark. Remember that? The Dungeon of Doom against Hogan. And eventually returned to WWE in the late 90s and early as Golga. Didn't know that. Congratulations to, again, the natural disasters. Of course, Triple H, Michelle McCool, Lex Luger as honorees of the 2025 WWE Hall of Fame on April 8th.
The one that I'm really happy with, guys, is Lex Luger. He's been through so much in his life, and he's done some, the thing with Elizabeth and some other stuff. So I'm really happy to see that he's going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Good for him.
There you go. And let's go out to 6040 BRNSN, becoming a webhead here on Turnbuckle Talk. Love it, man. Thank you very much. Luger wants Sting to induct him. Interesting. Well, absolutely. They had that relationship forever. Sting and Luger together.
Yes.
And of course, that's the reason why Sting joined NWO Wolfpack, because his friend Luger, they always have a long history. It was Luger, it was Sting, and it was Flair that were carrying the early WCW and NWA at the time. That's
last match for Nitro. That was the last match for Nitro, Sting and Luger. Sting and Ric Flair.
Sting and Ric Flair. And of course, you had Luger always involved in those matches and of course, involved in the Four Horsemen. Just a great stuff there. And I feel bad for Luger, of course, ended up in a wheelchair, now doing DDP yoga, trying to walk on his own. Sad situation there. It's good for him. Good that he's in the Hall of Fame. Of course, being involved with Miss Elizabeth and all the other stuff. We can get into that another day. Louis,
I got some weight I got to drop, Peter. And as soon as I do that, I'll be getting my knee replacement surgery, and I'll be walking.
All right, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. All right. So, guys, let's go ahead and wrap it up right there.
Wheelchair.
Yeah, there you go, Ralph. Go ahead and promote yourself here on the Evolution.
Ralph Williams, RW Media. Catch me on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter X platform. Please follow me on Twitter, and please subscribe to my YouTube channel. It's a disgrace. I only have 207 subscribers, so please subscribe to it. Watch all my archive shows on there as well. And don't forget to catch me, the triple header of Ralph, every single Saturday. Starts at 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. The Ralph Williams, Tony Moreno Show, 1250 a.m., 92.5 FM, The Answer. And then at 9 a.m., on YouTube, Facebook, Twitch, Twitter X platforms, and the Huddle Sports Network. The Sports Wrap Show with me, Ralph Williams, Scott Morganroth, Leo Haggerty, and a guest of our choosing. And then also at 2 p.m. to 3 p.m., 1250 a.m., 92.5 FM, the Sports Corner Radio Show with me, Ralph Williams, Smoke, and Jim Frazier, Claudia Rosano, and Luther Dupree. We are going to have some serious free agent talk, and also in the NFL, also mock drafts. And I want to put a shout out to Robert Morris University, who won the men's basketball. They won the Horizon League championship.
We got all that, kids. There's a quiz at the end of that. Ralph Williams, bodyguard of the Berg. Appreciate you.
I had to get it all out, Peter. You know what I mean.
I got you, man. I got you. Thanks a lot for your time.
It's a lot of information I had to get out.
I know, buddy. You always got that great information. Ralph, we appreciate the time here on Turnbuckle Talk.
Thank you, Peter. Sorry about last week. I couldn't make it, but
it's all good. Priorities. Got to get your health right. The shot looks good. You're doing well. Enjoy the fishing. All right.
Yeah, I'm going to enjoy that ocean air. That's what I'm going to enjoy. So,
all right.
Have yourself a good one. Thank you.
Yeah. Good stuff. Shot looks good, man. Does look good. All right, Louis, go ahead and promote yourself here on the Evolution.
I'm Louis of the Frozen Pirate Podcast every Wednesday. Well, we're changing the day now because now you can find me here on the Sports Web. So we're going to be doing this on Thursdays now, but tomorrow, 8:30, Around the NFL with the Frozen Pirate Podcast and company. That's going to be a good show. We're going to be breaking down free agency. We're a little unfiltered, so earmuffs, kids. Anyways, make sure you tune into that. Subscribe to my YouTube channel, The Frozen Pirate Podcast on YouTube. Follow me on X/Twitter, The Frozen Pirate Podcast. Also on Instagram. And that's it. Actually, I have one more thing to say before I go.
Yes.
The Royal Rumble is all about returns and all this good stuff.
Yeah.
Where the hell is Papa Shango, man? I'm waiting for a Papa Shango Royal Rumble appearance.
You know who Papa Shango really is?
The Godfather, yeah.
Yes,
but I want to see it one time, just one time, him come out as Papa Shango, man.
I don't think he liked that gimmick very much.
Just
he liked
one
that,
time.
The
I
Godfather.
just want to see it one time. The Godfather was cool.
Right, but you can't even do the Godfather gimmick anymore. You can't even do it.
Nah, if the Undertaker can do the biker, go back to being the dead man and back to being like a hybrid, I'm sure he can find an in between there, man. But I want to see it one time, Papa Shango, one time.
All right, let's go out to this comment. Russ Vaughn. Flying Brian Pillman was the lady killer. I went clubbing with him after the shows. What a sad story. Because first and foremost, and I know we're about to get up, we're about to end the show here, but this is great. Russ, I had no idea you were connected to wrestling. This is awesome, my friend. Thanks a lot for tuning into the Evolution. What a sad story, because that guy's about to get over. He's already over. He's going to WWE. He's setting up this, this major storyline with Stone Cold and shooting his wife and all this other stuff. And then he gets into a bad car accident and he tries to come back from it. And he's not able to come back from it. And of course, drugs and just it's a shame though. The drugs that's was his downfall, because he was such a talented wrestler, and him and Stone Cold, the first awesome Hollywood Blondes there. Yeah. And what a shame, because what could have been with his story. And when he had that injury, when he was over in WWE, because he got into the accident or they signed him and he got into the accident, he wasn't the same wrestler. He's never going to be the same wrestler. So what a shame.
His kid's doing stuff at NXT now. So, I mean, I like to watch him a little bit. I don't know about the whole gimmick change. I guess he's trying to find his own way. But sometimes you just got to carry that legacy. I get it. Like, nobody's perfect in this world.
Right.
But it's up to us to break those to break those cycles and break the chain. So that's all I got, man. It was an awesome show today. Awesome show.
I'm telling you, we did over 3 hours of great content, Bucks content around the NFL, and of course, Turnbuckle Talk. Louis, we'll see you on Wednesday nights, man. You're a top free agent now, so you're stuck with us, all right?
No, that's fine, man. Hey, like I said, I'm happy to be on the show. I love doing the show, interacting with everybody, reading the comments and stuff like that. I love it. I got to get new sound bites here, more appropriate ones. I'm very big into The Sopranos. So when we do Around the NFL, I have a lot of Soprano sound bites.
Okay.
But
all right.
I'll figure something out. I'll figure something out. All right,
I
man.
got you. All right. There you go. Louis from the Frozen Pirate Podcast, as the sign is dead. Now they're in the floor. As you can see, the Rays Tropicana Field has fallen down and it's staying down. So I have to get a new sign. But thanks a lot to all the guests tonight. Mr. Leo Haggerty, former Coach Scout, and now media member of Night Sports Productions, Amped Up Sports. Thanks a lot to Ralph Williams, the bodyguard of the Berg. Of course, Louis from the Frozen Pirate Podcast. And of course, all the guests, all the phone calls, all the text messages, including my shadow right back there. You got to love that. We'll get that fixed, guys. Like and subscribe to the Sports Web on YouTube. Friend me on Facebook at Peter H. Blake. Do 3 things. We'll keep it down. Bring your passion. Bring your excitement. Just don't bring any nonsense. I'm your host, Peter Blake, your Rolex reporter. What time is it? It's my time. And for fans of the Sports Web and the Tampa Bay sports fan, it's your time. We'll see you next time on the Evolution of Sports Talk Television. Hopefully not with that shadow in the back. Guys, have a great night. And as always, go Bucks.